It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Columbia, this is Houston, AOS, over.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Knicks Wall podcast. I am Anthony Corbo. I'm your host. You can give me a follow over at Corbo Anthony. Joining me on the other line, as always, my co-host, your other host, it's Kyle Maggio, at Kyle Maggio on Twitter. What's up, dude?
What's going on, everyone?
And as you all know, we are part of the Blue Wire podcast family. Go check out those other pods on our network. And, you know, also while you're at it, check out the Knickswall.com on Twitter at the Knicks Wall. Check out TKW Podcast at TKW Podcast on Twitter. You know, do all those things. Subscribe to us. Check it on iTunes. Check us out on YouTube. All that stuff. All right, Kyle. So I'm joining you. We're speaking right after the Knicks lost to the Orlando Magic on Wednesday night. They fell 95-83. You know, we're now 1-4 on the season, coming in I would say about as some people expected to enter the year. Some issues starting to rise up, some surprises as well in there, both good and bad. Where do you want to start with this? You want to talk a little bit about the game tonight? I thought there's quite a little bit that we could glean from in there.
Yeah, we can start with tonight's game. It was interesting up until about midway in the fourth.
Yeah, so I mean, we had you know, starting lineup, obviously Elfrid Payton out, Dennis Smith Jr. out, dealing with the death in his family. We also had Reggie Bullock out as he's been, but he's away from the team as well with the death in his family. So some trying times for the team, but they rolled out a starting lineup tonight of Wayne Ellington, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, and Marcus Morris. And, you know, along with some of the players being out on in the guard rotation, we had Frank Ntilikina see 29 minutes tonight. We saw you know, RJ Barrett stick to over 30. We had, you know, Wayne Ellington play nearly 20 minutes. So, you know, I kind of thought that it was a good showing from Ntilikina throughout kind of, you know, up until the end of the first quarter when he kind of started to disappear a little bit. But strong defense, going at it, like really attempting to, you know, he ended up only scoring 7 points. He went 3 for 8, but taking 8 shots. I mean, that's, for somebody who we've been really at least wanting to shoot the ball, like that was a really good sight. 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Like I was glad to see him do something at least in his opportunity, but this is not to say that with such an opportunity he's been granted right now, he needs to do more.
Yeah, I didn't think he was outstanding or anything, but I thought he was good in the minutes they gave him. You know, he had a solid game. He didn't shoot particularly well, but it is what it is. Not terrible either, but I mean, he was 3 of 8 from the field, as you said. So, you know, there's that. He had 7 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. You know, no steals or blocks, but he looked all right out there defensively. He played almost 30 minutes, played 29 minutes. I thought, I don't know. I thought he was good. I thought he
was serviceable
good,
out there, and we really Elfrid Payton's out with a hamstring issue, but he was really the only. You know, Dennis Smith Jr. just looked completely lost out there on the court earlier this year, and I mean, you know, it was going to be a battle from the very start with this rotation, but at the very least, like we were kind of hoping Ntilikina kind of on his last chance, like that he would be able to make something of the opportunity, and you know we may have a start of something here. Also, kind of playing, you know, it was a really bad shooting game today. Like it was something like, I mean, the end of the first quarter was 25-22 New York. You know, Orlando scored 42 points in the entire first half. It was a very, very low scoring game. I think part of that was decent defense from both teams to get things going. I think Orlando's got a good defensive identity at this point in that unit being around together. But thought the Knicks looked kind of well bottling them up. But overall, our players just could not shoot. I mean, we had Morris going 2 for 11 throughout the game. RJ Barrett 4 for 11. Randle had a pretty nice game overall, but he didn't shoot particularly well. Ellington as well missed all of his 3-pointers, took 5 attempts. I would say this team, the spacing issues have been prominent, throughout the year and the 4 games that we've played so far. And, I don't really see that getting too much better. But at least we did start to see some chemistry, with some players on the floor. But yeah, this team is just, we are really don't have any 3-point shooters. And if Ellington isn't going to make the most of his opportunities, I don't know where that's going to come from for this team. They're banking on RJ Barrett becoming a shooter.
Yeah, so I thought Randle played really well tonight. I would have liked to have seen him a little bit more aggressive offensively. Team really needed someone to step up tonight and kind of really be the lead man. And not that he wasn't. He was doing that across the board tonight, including with his defense. But just in terms of shooting, he needed to be a little bit more aggressive. He was really looking for other people tonight, which was great. He had, 7 assists, and he was moving the ball really well. Even he should have had more assists, to be honest with you. He found a couple guys, including Bobby Portis a few times, wide open for 3. Just didn't convert. So, I really liked his floor game tonight. First couple games was really frustrating with him. He was forcing things a lot of post ups, just trying to force the issue. But tonight he's just very balanced. I liked it. I think down the stretch, he should have really tried to, and not just him, but this is kind of on Fizdale too. I had a kind of an issue with the offense in the fourth quarter as a whole, but they should have tried to work the ball to get, Julius moving downhill a little bit more in those last couple of minutes. It's the easiest way to get the offense moving around and humming, and they need to play quick like that. And he's their best offensive option right now too. Him and RJ kind of struggled tonight. So, I really didn't have an issue with him. I thought Mitchell Robinson played really well, especially in the first half. RJ struggled too. It wasn't like a horrific performance by any means. He wasn't terrible.
He kind of looked a little bit better distributing out there. It didn't really account to much. He didn't really have any assists tonight. He had 2. But
it's kind of invisible tonight.
Yeah,
is the best way I could put it. He wasn't bad.
He kept the ball moving. I think was kind of was the benefit of having him out there. But yeah, he couldn't get his scoring going for and that's kind of disappointing because we've been able to see, in the games where he hasn't shot particularly well at all to begin the season, from spotting up, but. The games where he knows he doesn't have that, he's been able to just take that inside and score. And we really didn't see any of that tonight. Against Orlando's defense, they kind of were able to lock him up around the perimeter. So, but he's a rookie. He's going to have these games. He's still able to put up some points, and nobody was efficient on this team tonight. Literally nobody. So, it is what it is. Kevin Knox, though, I think is starting to, really kind of develop that confidence. I think he's starting to get into himself a little bit in his bench role. His shootings looked, he didn't shoot, again, particularly well tonight, but to begin the season, I've kind of liked him, and the opportunities he's had to spot up. And, as much as I think they could use some shooting in the starting lineup, I think he's doing well in this bench role right now. And I don't really, I don't think that I want to change much with him right now because he definitely needs some time to come on.
Yeah, he looked good the first couple of games off the bench. He was being very efficient, and he was shooting the ball well from deep. Tonight, he started out ice cold, and I think he hit 3 of his last 4 attempts or something like that. And I think one was a 2. I think he only hit 1 3. Nope, 2 threes. So yeah, he hit 1
Yeah,
2
but he
and then
came on
2
towards the end.
threes.
Like he's been able. The thing that I've liked about him is he's been able to like recognize when he's going to get hot, and I think that that's gonna like he's. I think he's gonna be able to start developing some hot streaks, and like I feel like a lot of his scoring last year was very. I guess I would say very just kind of temperamental. Like it'd be random. It'd be kind of like he would just he would be able to score a couple of buckets, but like then go ice cold for the rest of the game or whatever. And like I think now it's kind of getting to a point where it might take him a little bit of time to come on. He still needs to he's not quite at the level of of scorer that you would want your wing to be, a starting wing player like him, but he's at the very least like able to get hot, and I think that's going to do well for him continuing on this year.
Yeah, he just got to keep embracing that bench role. I think it's we said it at the beginning of the year, but I think that's a really good role for him. It kind of puts him in positions where he can't mess it up. He's continuing to take open jumpers. He's getting a limited opportunity, so he's got to go out and move, off the ball, make good cuts, and he's mostly done that. So at least with the scoring aspect of his game, I haven't had many issues. I'm still kind of worried about his defense and his rebounding, neither of which have been particularly good or strong this season. I can live with the defense not being good or even great ever. It's at least make keep cleaning up that efficiency. Show it's for real, because there might be more games like tonight now, and he falls back to earth and he looks like the same guy. We gotta see the first 3-4 games. We gotta see that consistency, and we gotta see that rebounding tenacity he showed at times last year. We know he has the body and the frame for it. We know when he wants to be engaged and involved, he can go out there and get some rebounds. There's no excuse. We saw RJ Barrett go out there and put up a 15 rebound performance in the game before this one, and just he gets after it. He goes out there and he gets boards. I'd like to see a little bit more out of that from Knox, but we'll see. It's still early in the year. We're still evaluating guys. But I like that bench role for Knox.
Yeah, and one other guy that we saw getting some time off the bench tonight too was Damian Dotson, and didn't really show much of anything. Scored his only couple of points from the line, but what's been interesting to me about Dotson, he's only started to see some minutes again recently, but Trier has been a DMP for the last 2 games now, and I just think from given just his role that he had last year now to not playing in games, and the kind of pushback he's publicly shown on some coaching decisions and otherwise with the Knicks already, like this is kind of unexpected to me. I thought that he would at least be playing some minutes off the bench, and I don't know how that's going to go over as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up the Celtics game real quick, but he needs to play. I'm sorry. It's just makes the most sense. He's an efficient scorer who could do multiple things. He's got to play.
But what do you think of Dotson getting the minutes over him right now? Because especially with no Dennis Smith Jr., with no Elfrid Payton right now, like there are guard minutes to go around, and right now you have RJ Barrett getting over 30 a game, which some might object to or whatnot, but and then you also have like Frank Ntilikina played almost 30, and it's just kind of surprising to me that even with Dotson getting some minutes in there, that Trier isn't even able to pop in for a good even 10 minutes. Like I don't know if playing him 10 minutes or no minutes like is worse, but
main thing that I've been happy with through this last stretch since we've last talked to everyone though is RJ looks legit. if nothing else, that makes me happy, knowing that I was a staunch defender. Still far too early. He could have many more games like tonight's performance, but I like what I've seen, and I'm about as close to being sold as I can for a kid who's 19 and playing as composed as he is right now. So there's going to be some rough patches, obviously, like tonight, but as a whole, I've liked it. Even on those nights, like against the Celtics when he was a little bit inefficient, 9 of 21, but he's still finding ways to get 7 rebounds and 3 assists and just stay involved.
How do you feel about the idea of him being a point guard right now? Like, obviously,
I think the only way you do that is if you're planning on playing like speedball. Like, unless you're trying to play very, very small and fast, like the Rockets do, where it's just like RJ and then 3 shooters and Mitchell Robinson. Like, unless you're trying to do something like that, I don't like it very much. And
it's odd because we do not have a team that's built for that. Like, in any way
we do not.
Before.
No, I mean, the best that they would be able to do that, and I'm trying to, on the fly, build an efficient unit in my head here, but like I know Bobby Portis, for example, is the best big that shoots threes. He shot 40% last year, or damn near. And Marcus Morris can shoot. Yeah, Marcus Morris can shoot from outside. Knox shot 34% last year, shooting pretty well this year. So I mean, maybe if they did like RJ, Wayne Ellington, Dotson, Knox, and then throw Mitch, because I think you need that rim protection. You need some defense,
sure.
And Mitch runs the floor. But I feel like that's
then you're also looking at a unit that takes Julius Randle out of the equation. And that's,
I mean, Julius can hit the 3 too if he needed it. Not this season to begin with, but he was hitting it at a decent clip last year.
Yeah, I know, but it's just with everything that's going on right now with this team, like Julius Randle has really, really tried to stay inside, and like I just don't think he has range right now. Like I will absolutely be proven wrong by that if I gotta be. And like I would like for him to start hitting those shots because he is capable of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just not at the point where I can count on that so far. Like I feel like you need a unit that you can count on with that stuff, and like because you're gonna have RJ Barrett, who's like really in there, like you said, like to just kind of gun it. Like he's gonna run. Like you want to play him at that point position so he can take it from getting it inbounded to him and find a lane directly to the rim or pass it off. Like that is what you want out of him if you're going to play him at that position. And, you got to have reliable shooters out there, and you got to have someone reliable like Ellington, who's been the least reliable shooter this season. And that's bizarre. And then like, you got to have Marcus Morris, who probably is like the right where the borderline, right. It's like the person who crosses the border of, whether or not he's an efficient shooter. And then, that next spot that gets really tricky. Like you said, you got to play, if Knox is hitting, then like you could play Knox at the 3 or Morris or interchange those two, whatever. But if he can't hit and he's not being, super efficient, you got to play Portis at the 4. And like, I don't, where's his efficiency so far? And then, like you said, you need some kind of defense out there. So you got to go with Robinson at the 5. It's just, that's the best they can do. And I mean, to me, that doesn't really hold too much water. Like, that's not something they can grow into. Like they might be able to get away with it for now, but like there are a lot of pieces that are going to need to be replaced there if we're going to start building around RJ Barrett in this manner.
Yeah. It certainly remains to be seen. I don't think it's something to scoff at. At first, I did, as I often do. And I wouldn't say came around on it, but it can work with how he facilitates. Again, you're going to have to really get creative with the pieces. I think he'll work the ball around ultimately enough, but it's just finding you're going to have to find the right, defensive balance too. You got to figure out where to put him on defense if he's going to play sort of that point role. Are you just going to stick him on the wing, or are you going to stick him on a 3? How does that affect who you're putting in? Does that mean, you put Frank at the 2 as sort of an off-ball play, secondary playmaker? I think this would be the time to experiment with those lineups and just try to fill it with as much shooting and small ball as you can, uh, which is what our head coach, David Fizdale, said we would be doing, which was playing a lot faster, playing a lot quicker, shooting a lot more threes, and really hasn't looked that way, to be quite honest with you. So a little bit frustrating there when he has all the personnel this year to do that and then chooses not to. So
I definitely want to get more into that with you in a second here. But first, I want to tell the good people out there about a couple of our sponsors. Our first sponsor, we've talked about them before. It's Harry's. Humans have been shaving for thousands of years. I like the way they opened that up. It's a good lead. The secret to a great shave, it hasn't changed too much. The ancient Greeks, they didn't need the flex balls, the heated handles. I've never used them, and neither should you. I love Harry's because it always gives me a close shave. It's an easy glide. It's a low price. Do us a favor. Check out harrys.com/Blue Wire for your free trial today. They're really slick. They're really, they're just good, basic quality razors. And, when you have as much hair as these two Italians here, you need that kind of thing. They're just super convenient too. The blades get delivered directly to your door, right on schedule. No subscription or anything like that. You can go with that as well, but you just get them in a pack at a time. You can get them delivered right to you every month without thinking about it. It's an easy process, is what I'm trying to say here. Listeners of this show can redeem their Harry's trial set at harrys.com/Blue Wire. You'll get a weighted ergonomic handle for a firm grip, the 5-blade razor with the lubricating strip and a trimmer blade, the rich lathery shave gel with aloe to keep your skin hydrated, and a travel blade cover to keep your razor dry and easy to grab on the go. Go to harrys.com/Blue Wire to start shaving better today. And, of course, it wouldn't be the Knicks Wall podcast without hearing from ShipStation. The holiday rush is coming, people, and if you sell online, you better get ready with ShipStation. With more people buying online than ever before, you'll have to ship these orders out quickly, efficiently, and affordably. And how will you keep track of all these orders, or decide which shipping carrier to use, or if you're getting the best rates? Luckily, ShipStation can help. With just a few clicks, you'll be managing orders, printing labels, and getting those products out the door and delivered in time for the holidays. No matter where you're selling, Amazon, Etsy, or your own website, ShipStation brings all your orders into one simple interface, making them easy to use from any device or even your cell phone. ShipStation works with all the major carriers like USPS, FedEx, and UPS, so you can compare and choose the best shipping solution for you and your customer. They even offer big discounts on shipping costs. Now, any business can access the same postage discount. They're usually reserved for the larger Fortune 500 companies. It's no wonder ShipStation is the number one choice of online sellers. You'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. Take the hassle out of the holiday shipping this year. Let ShipStation help you handle it all with ease. Just use the offer code BLUE to get a 60-day trial for free. That's 2 months hassle-free, stress-free holiday shipping. Just visit ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in BLUE. That's ShipStation.com, enter promo code BLUE. ShipStation, make ship happen. So, we saw yet another starting lineup out there for David Fizdale today. He's been tinkering. He's been tweaking with, who he's going to be rolling out there to begin his games. All the rotations have been going through some changes. Tonight he opened it up with Ellington. He opened it up with, Barrett again at the point. We had Robinson, Randle, and Marcus Morris. And it's the previous games, it's been different. And so I guess I kind of want to talk about his rotations as a whole and what you've made about guys who are starting to fall into place after the first 4 games. Are you seeing any? We talked about Kevin Knox's role a little bit. We talked about RJ Barrett's role a little bit. Are you seeing any other players where you're, encouraged by them starting to fall into their role, or do you see any that you're kind of, some guys that you're out on, or is there a couple of guys who really we're going to need them to find some kind of a comfort zone with this team if we want to take some steps forward?
Well, first and foremost, Julius Randle's got to find his comfort zone. He looked a little bit better tonight, as we spoke about earlier, but he's still not truly comfortable. You could tell he's still hesitant. But for any success the Knicks are going to have this year, he's the most talented guy who's the most far along. And, they're going to rely on him. They signed him for that reason. He put up 21 and 9 last year. The upside's there. I think he's 24. They're going to rely on him. So he's got to get into a groove. Not saying he's played overly poorly. I think he's done a good job facilitating the last few games. But he's first and foremost for any success, him and Mitchell Robinson. And it looked like, tonight they kind of both started to get there, which was a good sign. But for other guys about falling into place, it's very clear Bobby Portis is going to play a central role in this team. Every game so far, he's been playing pretty significant minutes. Obviously, Monday against the Bulls, 29 minutes.
Also,
he was
real quick, want to call bullshit on something because I was at a Bulls game where they were chanting Bobby Portis in the United Center. So
wow.
I don't want. Yeah, I'm breaking this now.
This is big. Yeah, you're breaking this now.
This was not the first time he had a crowd cheering for him. Don't let him give you all that bullshit. I was there. My friend's drunk dad was chanting. The whole section was chanting. He might not have heard us. We were up kind of high up there, but Bobby Portis, this has happened before, man. Don't let it go to your head.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like, now they're starting to figure out what they want to do with that kind of last guard position. And it's really going to come down to, I think, two of Ntilikina / Ellington. That whoever wins out there is going to play kind of those leftover minutes from wherever RJ and Alfred and Dennis all play. Like, that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like, since we've been more and more shorthanded, those guys have been kind of experimented with more and more. And, I feel like one of the, you kind of see where they are at the totem pole with the opportunities that they've been given. But, I'm interested to see who kind of wins out here. I do think that if we want to win games, Ellington's going to have to play pretty regular minutes, 20 to 25 a night. I don't think that's ideal ultimately, but if he can get it maybe around 20, he's a good 3-point shooter. He doesn't he's not a high usage guy. He helps with the spacing. Like, he hasn't been good yet, but he's got to be in the lineup, I think.
And the other thing with that is they also have Reggie Bullock to consider, and he's obviously out for multiple reasons right now, and needs to take his time getting back. And for both of those reasons, but he is also someone who initially this summer before his injury was really determined by the Knicks, like he was given a pretty decent paycheck, and I think they expected to have a role for him, and I think that could still be in the cards if he is back and healthy, and able to contribute on the court. Like, there's a lot left to be seen there, but he's still a guy that the Knicks have on their team who could potentially contribute down the line. We talked about it a little bit, but like, I'm still very interested. I wouldn't say concerned so much, because this is definitely not a guy who I'm super high on, but with Trier not getting any minutes right now, like where he ends up in that guard rotation is interesting to me. But yeah, a lot of it comes back to Julius Randle and his struggles. I always forget that Julius Randle is as young as he is. Like, he just strikes me as somebody who's been like 28, 29 years old since the day he got into the NBA. So yeah, he still has room to grow, and I think that with this team, there's going to be a lot of chemistry needs to be built here. Like, you can tell these guys just don't know where each other are going to be on the court yet, and how to stay out of each other's way, and like that's encouraging. So, like, I'm definitely okay with Fizdale playing around with his rotations and trying out new pieces as he goes along to see who might fit. But there's at a certain point, I would like some guys to start clicking together. And so far we haven't really seen too much of that. I am encouraged because Mitchell Robinson seems like he's developed. I mean, he doesn't have that difficult of a role for guys to try to get involved in, but he seems to, his like kind of court awareness has been good. He's able to read where other guys are. He's thrown down lobs from multiple amounts of players on this team so far. And I think that, I don't know, I just feel like he's starting to develop some chemistry in that front court. The only guy who it seems to me like he hasn't really clicked with yet on a spacing level is Julius Randle, and that needs to be something that improves. And I think we saw a little bit of that tonight versus Orlando.
Yeah, no, they were clicking a little bit. Randall had two just absolute dimes to Mitchell Robinson. He had a little wraparound pass on the elbow, just sort of Nash-like, just extended his arms, all the way out, one-armed it, and kind of curved it around the defender, hit Mitchell, rolling to the rim for a dunk, and then couple possessions later, it was either that or it might have even been back-to-back possessions, but it was close proximity either way. And I forget if it was a pick and roll, but Randall's rolling to the rim, Mitch is rolling to the rim, and Randall lobs it up, Mitchell throws it down, and it was pretty. But he looked for him a few other times too. He missed them a little bit, but they definitely are starting to build the rapport up. And I liked it. That's how they're going to need to play for us to be successful. It's an important part of the offense. You can pick and roll with those guys if needed. You don't need to use the guards necessarily. So those two figuring out, especially offensively, is a must. And they started to. First half was fun. Pretty much through the middle of the third, towards the end of the third, that was all pretty entertaining. I felt Randall was dishing. He scored pretty well tonight, 7 of 13 shooting, a little over 50%. He looked good. He was defending, affecting a lot of shots. Mitch was defending, affecting a lot of shots, of course, but he was scoring a little bit tonight too. Just they looked good together. That's kind of what I talked that pairing up during the summer, and we were looking forward to seeing it. And that's kind of what I envisioned for them. It's still early, but that's what we were hoping for. And obviously they didn't close the game out like we would have, hoped, but it is what it is. Young team, hopefully they learn from it. I just want to keep seeing that type of progress now.
There are certainly areas where we are seeing them starting to, click and come together, but still plenty to work out, and they will do so as we move along in the season. So let's close on this, Kyle. The upcoming schedule for the next couple of days. We have kind of a packed week ahead of us. We got 3 games, Knicks Celtics on Friday. That's going to be at TD Garden, I believe. Yep. So we get a rematch from Sunday's game. We'll see if they can, they got kind of walloped in that game. We'll see if they're able to take anything and give them a little bit of revenge back. We got Kings at Madison Square Garden on Sunday. That's going to be a little bit earlier. What's that? The 6 p.m. game. Yeah, I'm interested in that. The Kings have not looked good, but they have some interesting pieces. I've heard a lot of people kind of throwing around Bogdanovich as a name they might want the Knicks to go out for. So I'd like to see him play in person as well. And then we got Knicks Pistons next Wednesday, and we'll be talking to you guys right after that game. So definitely, potential to, against those Kings or those Pistons games, like might be a chance for the Knicks to be able to make a little bit of noise. We'll see what they do against the Celtics, but yeah, anything you're looking out for in those games?
Would you want Bogdanovich?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn. It depends because he's going to want a lot of money in the over the summer, and I just don't know how much you want to give him. Like how much do you think that he's going to want to get paid this summer?
I feel like he's going to go for like Harrison Barnes territory, like 80, 90 mil. I mean, listen, it's a lot. Okay, listen, it's a lot of money.
I'm not good with paying him 20 million a year. Like 15 million a year, I start to lose interest.
Perfectly understandable. I don't know that he will go for 20 million a year. I just know that shooters generally get paid in this league.
Yeah, but I don't want another Hardaway contract.
So anyway, I'm aware, but like, okay, so let's say you can get him for 15 million. I think we would agree that that's pretty good. I think that's reasonable.
I would probably sign him 4 for 60 in a heartbeat, but I have some problems going above that. I'd probably maybe go like the highest that I would absolutely be okay with the Knicks signing him for is like low 70s range, but
he's one of those players.
I'm just nervous about that
on every team. Who he just does a little bit of everything, and he's efficient. He defends. It's needed, and I think next to RJ, you need that efficiency. As well. You need another calm hand next to him. I think that's a nice balance when you have multiple guys who could do multiple things. I did draft him
so I can monitor him over the course of the season.
So please do.
Man,
that.
He's already 27 too.
I don't know what it would. I don't know what it would cost. I would imagine they're gonna not want to move on from RJ Barrett. Ever. It seems like Mitchell Robinson seems fairly untouchable. So I would imagine,
you're gonna get. He's going to get paid over the course of this over the summer too. So you're not giving up a lot for him. You might give up like a distant first, but that's probably the highest price. Maybe move like Trier out and just trade expiring contracts or something.
I don't know. That seems a little low. I don't know. It's tough. Yeah. He's a good player. He's a very good player. And if you're trading for him, you're basically expecting to be able to sign him too. That's partly why you're doing it. So you're just inheriting him for the next, X many years.
Is just murky too.
That's got to be the plan.
He's 27. It's, how much, or signing a core player who's above, 25 right now kind of seems like, maybe not the right way to go with all of the the youth on this team. Like, Julius Randle almost feels old for this team, but I just learned he's literally like 5 days younger than me. But yeah. Anyway, all right. That I think that about wraps us up for this week. And you have something else to add?
Last thing. Just not even a Knicks thing, just an NBA thing. Did you happen to see the score of the Rockets-Wizards game?
Oh, God, no.
I'd like to just go find it real quick. I want to hear your reaction.
From tonight?
Yep, from tonight.
I see this up here.
Please just look at the score.
Wow, holy shit. Holy shit, dude. Oh my God, Harden had 59. Beal with 46.
159 to 158. Oh my
God, dude,
no
that's
overtimes.
Crazy. Harden had 59 points. That's insane.
The Knicks scored 83 tonight.
They almost doubled it.
Like that, you know what I mean?
God, dude, that's fucking crazy. Are you serious?
Ridiculous. Yeah, I think Beal had 44 on like 20 shots.
Dude, Harden shot 18 free throws tonight. That's crazy.
Sorry, Beal had 46 on 20
Yeah.
shots.
Beal shot 12 free throws. Harden shot 18 free throws. Yeah, Beal 46 on 20 is loony numbers. That is insane, dude.
He shot 14 of 20 from the field, 7 of 12 from
Dude,
deep.
everybody off the Wizards bench scored in double figures. Again, Isaiah Thomas scored
what did
17
Isaiah
and had
Thomas
10
do?
assists. My God, yeah, have
Good
a day,
for him.
Isaiah. Oh man, what other interesting stats are here? This is just crazy. It was like literally all Harden too.
Yeah, it was because I was looking for
I mean, he had a
Russ, but Russ
triple-double.
only. Well, Russ had a triple. Yeah, he had a triple double. Can't really scoff at it either in a game like this.
17 seems low, but yeah, he had 10 rebounds and 12 assists too. Man, that's loony bins. This is insane. Oh man, did you see the Wizards shooting percentage?
I wonder
They shot 62% on field goals and 55 from three. Oh my God.
The Rockets shot 54 threes and they shot 42% from
that's
deep.
not bad.
42 points. Oh,
I mean,
43
like that, they played like an
actually.
averagely efficient game when you look at it all. It's just they just did it all really quickly. I gotta like look up pace stats for this thing. Like, oh man, well, we're gonna have to get back to that. But that was a nice little detour at the end of the podcast there, so I appreciate that. Oh, man, 100. That's a preseason game right there. That's like almost all-star level.
That's that's almost all-star level. I wonder what the highest scoring regular season game ever was.
This is getting. I mean,
because this has got to be up there.
And this has got to be the highest scoring non-overtime game ever. Like this has got to be.
That's what I'm wondering.
There's no way that a game. If anyone out there knows of a game that scored more points without going to overtime, tweet us at TKW Podcast. Because that's crazy. All right, we gotta wrap this thing up though. I'm just in complete awe over here. Go give us a follow at the Knicks Wall at TKW Podcast. Follow Blue Wire at Blue Wire Pods. Subscribe to us on iTunes, on YouTube. Head to theknickswall.com. We have the game recap was just posted up there. Some features about David Fizdale's rotation from Quentin Haynes came out today. They got the matchups against everyone in the divisions right now. So definitely some interesting takes from the first week of basketball up there right now. Go check all those out. And we will talk to you all next week.